Val. I'm a young black woman.
Hi, Val.
I'm very interested in what you have to say about all the controversy that's going on now with the tension between young black males and white cops. Watching the movie Selma, it's just shocking that these things seem to have not changed at all, even with a black president. And I know you, did you have anything to do with Selma? I know that...
No, Oprah, of course, is a producer.
Right.
You know, I called myself a cheerleader-in-chief of Selma.
That's nice.
That's why I was with that. That's why we had the Oscar nominations recently, and I was so sick that Selma... The movie was nominated for Best Picture, which, as you know, is a big deal.
Big deal.
But I was so hoping for David Oyelowo and the director Ava DuVernay. But back to the question that Val asked, you know, I have a son who's now 27, and it's a conversation that all black parents have. I don't know any black family, regardless of your economic status, that has not had a conversation with their son that goes like this when they're about 12. If you're ever stopped by the police, you need to do exactly what they say. You don't challenge, you don't confront, you don't make any sudden movements, you do exactly what they say, even if you're right, and we will handle it later. And people said to me, white friends have said to me, but Gayle, you know, that's just respect, that's just telling your kids about respecting authority and respecting the police. I tell my son that too. I said, the difference is, your son would be given the benefit of the doubt, my son would not. We grew up, you know, my kids grew up in Greenwich, Connecticut, which, as you know, is a very affluent suburb in Connecticut. They went to, you know, some of the best schools, went to best colleges. But I think quite often when you're stopped by the police, you are not given the benefit of the doubt that you're not up to no good, depending on the circumstances. And so it is very disturbing. That said, I am very pro-cop. I really admire and respect police officers, but there are a couple of bad apples that abuse authority. And I think that it's going to take a coming together on both sides. You know, there are people that when the police ask you to do something, you really do need to do it.
Right.
Because when there is a choice between a confrontation between you and a police officer with a gun, you are always going to lose.
Right.
I don't care what your color is.
Right.
But it is disturbing to see the large number of unarmed black males that are killed by white police officers. There is no getting around that, that the numbers are way out of whack on that. And it's going to take a lot of education and a lot of really coming together so that people are not afraid. Marlo, people are afraid. They really are. Well, and no one wants to admit it.
But I think maybe they're both afraid.
Yeah,
the cops are afraid.
Yes, and the people are afraid.
And the regular people are afraid.
You look at the Eric Garner case in New York City where the guy was, you know,
chokehold.
Where he was choked. And there you had video and the police officer was still acquitted.
I know.
I mean, so, and every case is different, you know, and all of these, Trayvon Martin, you know, who was an unarmed kid going to the supermarket, came back with iced tea and Skittles. We know that story. Confrontation. George Zimmerman was not a police officer, but he saw himself as a law enforcement figure.
Right.
You know, so it is going to take a time that we can figure out a way to come together with each other.
Right.
And right now there is a lot of tensions. So back to her question, it worries me greatly. I'm very afraid.
Right.
But there need to be conversations on both sides.
Right.
The fact that those two police officers were shot sitting in their car by a wackadoo, that was a crazy guy, unfortunately he was black, by a wackadoo who had gotten all hyped up by all the protests, is a tragedy in this city.
I know, and it just inflames it more.
It does, it really does.